Today on Public Eye News, NMU alumni is on Survivor, and YouTuber is sentenced for trespassing in Area 51.
Joseph Sigourney will have our forecast today, and later Mike Banks has a look at our sports. Hi, I'm Maya Kerr.
And I'm Devontae Stein. This is Public Eye News. New season of Survivor, The Island of Idols, begins on CBS in a week on Wednesday, September 25th. This season will feature a familiar face on it as former NMU hockey player Tom Laidlaw joins the cast. Tom was a defensive man for the Wildcats in 1976 and 1980, and following that, he played in the NHL for the New York Rangers and Los Angeles Kings. A Forbes article stated that Laidlaw had to endure 5 days of physical and psychological tests. Laidlaw asserted that he would be successful on the show. Quote, "The mental part of Survivor is 95% of the game. I know how to build an alliance and win challenges, then do whatever it takes to win." End quote. I know I'll be tuning in to see how the former Wildcat does on Survivor. The First Presbyterian Church of Marquette youth group is getting ready to head out on a mission trip to Puerto Rico. But first, they need to raise some money to get there. 17 kids ranging from 8th grade throughout high school, along with 4 adult chaperones, will be making the trip to Puerto Rico. The total cost for everyone to go is about $13,000, not including airfare. This Saturday, September 21st, the group will host the Fun Run 5K located at Lower Harbor Park in Marquette. Registration begins at 2:30 p.m. while the race begins at 3 p.m. All are welcome to come out and support.
David Kerpier of Escanaba received National Award for his outstanding service as a technician at Riverside Chevy, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac. Kerpier was ranked 4th nationally for his accomplishments as a technician and was one of the only recipients of this award in Michigan. This year will be his 14th at Riverside and 30th overall as a technician. He believes one major factor in winning this award was customer satisfaction. An announcement made by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, regarding over $1 million in public assistance can now be utilized by the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, Energy Cleanup after severe storm damage in Houghton County. Assistant Commander of the Michigan State Police Emergency Management and Homeland Security Division, James Grady, says, quote, "Houghton County continues to deal with the devastation caused by last year's severe weather and flash flooding. This funding will help the community address the impacts of this disaster," end quote. This funding will be allocated to different nonprofits and governmental organizations to help remove the wreckage and repair roadways.
The community of Ontonagon announced they'll be making progress towards rebuilding their town. It started with the demolition of an old restaurant. This process started Monday and continued into Tuesday with the demolition of the former Wagers Restaurant and Captain's Lounge. Joe Erickson, the Ontonagon village manager, said, quote, "The restaurant has been abandoned in the village for approximately 15 years. It's been vacant. It didn't look good on our main street. It wasn't generating any tax revenue," unquote. After submitting and receiving approval of $50,000 from a Michigan Rural Community Demolition Grant, along with a leverage funding of $25,000 from the village, Erickson said, quote, "With this, we will be able to build a beautiful house which will ultimately become a tremendous community," unquote. City leaders expect the demolition to be completed this week. They will start restoring the site this October with the hopes of attracting new business shortly after. The West End Health Foundation is still welcoming applications for its fall competitive 2019 grant cycle. The foundation is searching for programs that promote health and wellness for residents on the west end of Marquette County. Applications are available on their website and are due by 5 p.m. on October 1st. Applications must be dropped off to the office or mailed in. Pam Christensen, foundation manager for West End Health, said, quote, "We do give out about $60,000 in these competitive grants per year, and the grants range from $500 to about $5,000. Generally, we only like to give for one-year projects, although we might consider multi-year projects," unquote. The West End Health Foundation will host a business after hours in November where they will award the grant funds. And after the break, we'll take a look at national and international news.
on Country Music.
There was this saying, blues had a baby, and they called it rock and roll. And I always said, yeah, and I think the daddy was a hillbilly.
2 new careers are launched in Memphis.
When it comes to music, Memphis has always had a little more soul. It's in the gumbo down there.
And 2 legendary women come to Nashville.
When you hear her sing, you feel the emotion in every lyric.
When Country Music continues.
Tonight at 8, plus an encore at 10.
Today, President Trump announced his choice for the new National Security Advisor after much controversy over the previous advisor, John Bolton, about a disparity regarding policies. Former hostage negotiator Robert O'Brien was appointed today. O'Brien recently appeared in the news for his part in the rapper A$AP Rocky's assault trial in Sweden. 11 months after Hurricane Michael, some Bay County seniors say they're still not able to fully enjoy what their senior year has to offer. News Channel 7's Katie Griffiths tells us how our local teacher is stepping up to help these students have the best last year of their high school experience.
For many high school seniors in Bay County, they don't have time to just be students anymore.
After school, I work 4 to 11, and then on weekends, I get up at 3 in the morning to open and work till 2 in the afternoon.
Hurricane Michael left 15 to 20% of Rutherford's 196 seniors homeless, which is why one teacher stepped up to help out all of the senior class.
I thought, let's raise some money. Let's see if I can raise enough money to cover the costs for all the seniors for their cap and gowns, which run between $35 and $40 a piece, so it's not cheap.
Lynn Bird started the Adopt a Senior program at Rutherford to help relieve some of the financial burden her students are facing.
My main goal is to raise the money for the cap and gowns and stuff because that's such an important part of graduating. Don't want any kid not to participate in graduation because of money. For Rutherford senior Braden Budding, who's been living with friends so he can graduate from Rutherford after his mom moved to Dothan, the help means everything.
It would help a lot just to have my cap and gown help paid for and stuff like that. It would be a very big deal to me. I'm very grateful.
Thanks to Bird's determination, students like Budding will be able to walk the stage they've worked so hard to get to.
When you go to a school for 3 years, you want to graduate from that school because, you know, we bleed black and gold, and you want to wear that cap and gown at the end of the year.
In the end, these students don't want to let their circumstances prevent them from hearing pomp and circumstance come May. In Bay County, Katie Griffiths, News Channel 7.
Who's ready to storm Area 51? 2 Dutch tourists have pleaded guilty to misdemeanor trespass and illegal parking. The tourists told authorities they wanted to take video footage of Area 51. On Monday, Govert Sweep and Thijs Grainzier were sentenced to 10 days in county jail with release after 3 days if the fines of $2,280 apiece were paid. The men surrendered computer and camera equipment to authorities along with their aerial drone valued around $10,000. The tourists were told they could face a more serious conspiracy charge if they are found again at the Nevada National Security Site, a vast post and patrolled area about 90 miles northwest of Las Vegas. This security site covers the size of the state of Rhode Island. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia have determined Iran was behind a coordinated attack on Saudi oil facilities this weekend, and now the allies are coordinating their response. Nicole Killian has more details from the White House.
The U.S. is taking its first action in response to a drone and missile strike on Saudi oil facilities this weekend. President Trump tweeted this morning, "I have just instructed the Secretary of the Treasury to substantially increase sanctions on the country of Iran." Secretary of State Mike Pompeo left for Saudi Arabia late last night, and the kingdom's defense ministry held a press conference to unveil evidence of Iran's involvement in the attack.
I would like to assert the kingdom's capacity to defend its critical infrastructure.
Iran launched 24 drones and 9 cruise missiles flying low and at relatively slow speed to avoid Saudi air defenses. U.S. officials say experts on the ground in Saudi Arabia have examined pieces of the debris, identified the specific type of cruise missiles and drones, and determined they were made in Iran 100%, a senior administration official told CBS News.
Today's sanctions announcement does not rule out a possible U.S. military response, but General Joseph Dunford, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, says the president has not yet asked for any military options.
Senator Lindsey Graham says a military response is needed and pointed to Iran's attack on a U.S. drone this summer.
I think that is the most likely response from my point of view to restore deterrence. Clearly, when they shot down the drone, a measured response was seen as weakness.
Iran delivered a letter to the U.S. denying it is behind the attacks and warned it will immediately retaliate if the U.S. strikes. One option may be for the U.S. to back a military response from the Saudis, and Secretary Pompeo has been tasked with finding out how the kingdom would like to respond. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
Comcast just announced that its Flex streaming service will now be free for all their customers who use Comcast as their internet provider. Comcast hopes that by doing so, this will give them a more competitive edge against companies such as Amazon with their Fire Stick and Apple with Apple TV. After this break, we will have sports and weather.
Awesome, don't you?
Earth's amazing natural resources. How will they be used to power our future?
The magic of the desert, the sun, the sand, they can power a whole city.
The quest to fuel tomorrow. Treasures of the Earth on Nova.
Thursday afternoon at 3 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Joseph Sigourney. Today, right now, we're looking at the gorgeous Day of Marquette here on our Skycam. And right now, the current conditions are partly cloudy with a temperature of 78 degrees and south-southeast winds at 18 miles per hour. And the barometric pressure is 29.97 inches and falling. Tonight, possible chance of thunderstorms and a low of 66 and winds south-southwest at 26 miles per hour. And tomorrow, have another beautiful day, partly cloudy, high of 78 degrees and southwest winds at 10 miles per hour. Looking at our map here, in Sault Ste. Marie, it is going to be 77. Manistique will be 69. Escanaba will be 70. Menominee 74. Coming on the other side. Iron Mountain is going to be 77. Ironwood at 76. Houghton at 82. And back here in Marquette, 78 degrees. So pretty much everywhere, it's going to be hot. Looking ahead, we have Friday at a high of 71, low of 63, and partly cloudy. Saturday, a high 76, low of 62, and also partly cloudy. And Sunday, a high 71, low of 54, and you guessed it, partly cloudy. Well, Mike, looks like we have a great weather weekend coming up for our homecoming weekend here at Northern Michigan.
Yes, we do. So after a big loss last week, the Wildcats look forward to homecoming this weekend, where they will be facing Davenport University. Wildcats are 1-1 and looking for a victory Saturday. Davenport has started their season with a 1-0 start. Last year's game was a thriller with a 31-30 score and the Wildcat loss. Both Steph Curry and Damian Lillard have announced they plan to play for the U.S. in the 2020 Olympics. Team USA have finished 7th place in the 2019 FIBA World Cup. It's the worst tournament showing in program history. So I heard there's some problems in Chicago. Want to tell us about it, Maya?
Yeah. Lawmakers in Chicago are chirping about a recent issue at a transit station with pigeons. As a lawmaker, Jamie Andre was speaking to a reporter about the mess pigeons were making at the transit station. As this was happening, a pigeon flew over Andre's head and made a mess. Lawmakers are trying to work with legislation about cleaning up the station. A hairy situation has taken place in a Florida wig warehouse. Security videos show the thieves drove a truck into the warehouse and stole over $800,000 in merchandise under 5 minutes. All right, and that's all we have today on Public Eye News. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public